executive producers of the 3 TSTV news shows, as well as the news directors, about what it means to lead a show here at TSTV News. This is Tower Talks.
Okay, apparently that was the pre-teaser. We're ready from the top. Was it recording that last part? Oh, he forgot to press record. That's what happened. Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to Tower Talks. This is our final episode for the semester, and to commemorate the occasion, we are focused on the people behind TSTV News. Tonight we are going to speak with executive producers of the 3 TSTV news shows, as well as the news directors, to learn more about what it means to live here at TSTV News. This is Tower Talks. Good evening. My name is Ems and I am a TSTV News general reporter. I also serve as the social media and engagement here for TSTV News, as well as the social media producer for Good Morning Longhorns. We begin this episode by talking to Ella Denena. Ella serves as the executive producer for Good Morning Longhorns. She is also a graduating senior. Tower Talks associate producer Zion Tesfaye sat to talk more about her experience leading TSTV News' morning show.
My experience as the executive producer of Good Morning Longhorns has been awesome. Just the people who come every week make it what it is. It's early mornings on Wednesdays, but it doesn't even feel that early when you're around such great people. And just getting to lead a team of dedicated reporters and people who really want to get into this field is really rewarding. So Good Morning Longhorns does a little bit of everything content-wise. We start out with hard news, and then it gets into kind of softer campus news. We do weather, we do sports, we do entertainment, and then we bring a different guest on every week, which I'm really proud of the fact that we've had guests booked every single week this semester, because in the past that hasn't happened. My favorite memory was when a few of us interviewed Hoda and Jenna from the Today Show. This was last year. It was last fall. They came just for part of the Today Show. They were filming it in Austin, and Logan, our old executive producer, put in for press passes, and some of the leadership got to go, and getting to ask such amazing journalist questions is an honor, and so that was really awesome. I think people just enjoy it. They're all friends. Like, I've seen friend groups blossom and grow. Like, when new people join and freshmen join, they just start talking to each other, and then people just start coming back. And like I said, just everybody's super close, and so it's just kind of a part of your routine. I think I didn't expect how much I would have to hound people sometimes, and I've kind of just learned some people have different, interpretations of deadlines. And so certain people I'm more lenient because I know, they'll get it done. They just like to work super late at night, and I like to go to bed early. So I'm like, I trust that they'll have it done. But yeah, just having to hound certain people, but it's all good. I would say don't be so stressed. I was worried at the beginning. I was like, oh, what if people don't pitch enough stories, or stacking the show is going to take such a long time on Sundays when that's a weekend. But I've just gotten into a good routine, and it's kind of all about delegating as an executive producer. That's kind of the nice thing about it is you hire different people to be producers for you, and the executive producer is kind of overseeing everything. So I would just say don't be stressed, rely on your people. And yeah. Post-grad, my plan is to be a producer. Not sure if that'll end up being local or national. I'm aiming for the national route because I did an internship in national news last summer. So hoping for that, still trying to work that out. I'm in like the interview process for a few different things. But Good Morning Longhorns has really prepared me in terms of leadership and being able to take charge of your stories. And I just think leadership is great for everyone, and if anyone can try it, they should at some point, because when you're in the workplace, you kind of have to be a leader. So it definitely set me up for success. I would say have fun with it, get creative. It's easy every week to just do the same schedule of just a show, do a bunch of readers, VOs, have weather, sports, that kind of thing, but like you can mix it up. You can do your entertainment segment earlier in the show. Like just kind of have fun with it and make it your own.
When we come back, we sit down with the executive producers of Texas News Primetime. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Talks. Texas News Primetime is the nightly news show here at TSTV News on Mondays at 9 p.m., right before Tower Talks. Joining us now are Primetime executives Audrey Wong and McKenna Valentine. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Just last show. So
How does it feel?
crazy. We did that.
Yeah,
Bittersweet.
Well, before we get started with our questions, can you explain a little bit about how Texas News Primetime works and what goes on in its production?
So Primetime is the evening show here at TSTV News. Good mornings, maybe it's a bit lighter and a good way to start your day, but Primetime is the morning news. So we try to integrate things happening here at UT with things happening around Austin and the state. We'll supplement that with sports, entertainment, some weather, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, can you walk us through how you ended up co-executive producers for Primetime?
Yeah, Justin texted me early this semester offering me the position of EP, and I didn't think I could do this on my own, so I texted Audrey like, hey, do you want to be ES with me? Because I think that would be a much better deal for everything, and luckily she agreed, so.
Yeah, you guys have done a great job. Can you tell me a little bit about what that transition was like, going from associate producers to executive?
Honestly, a little scary. I don't think we could have done this, either of us, by ourselves. So it was definitely great to have the other here with us. But it was a fun learning experience. Really the first time that I think I or McKenna got our hands on pre-production equipment, like TriCaster, and learned how to stack a flow. So, yeah.
Yeah. Before this, I did the social media for Primetime. So that was definitely kind of a big transition. One semester just doing social media, and the next semester having to do executive producing. But I think we learned along the way. I'm proud of what we learned.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great semester for you guys. So what were your goals going into the semester with Primetime?
I think for me personally, just to show some of the new people what it was all about. I think and to come in as a freshman or someone who doesn't have a lot of journalism experience, and just teach them what it's like to, first write a story and maybe go on air, put a package together. We've had some great content and some team players that I hope will stick around. So yeah, it was really just to mentor them, have some good shows.
My goal was kind of to just keep the momentum going of the previous EPs. I know last semester it was Joseph Sweeney. The year before that it was Hope Vanderberg. So it was in very good hands before us, and I wanted to make sure this totally crash and burn.
We had some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, on that note, what is the biggest lesson you guys have learned as a producer?
Ooh, definitely that things will go wrong. And you can't freak out. You just have to keep a calm head and find a solution. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. It's a great environment here to less pressure than maybe a real news station would be under. And so it's okay to make those mistakes, and you can always recover and find a way to do it better next time.
Just know that things aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay. That's just the nature of things.
Yeah. Well, having served as producers now, executive producers for a semester, what would you do if you were starting new as a producer again?
I would probably start messing caster sooner. In all of my spare time, I would highly come to the HSM and play with the buttons and try to figure out what's going on. I think that would have helped the learning curve a lot more. But
it's a little scary.
Yeah.
I never touched TriCaster.
Heavy on that answer. Something always seems to be up with it, and we're always having to bring in some outside counsel to help us, which is great to have, but I think we would have been a lot smoother of a road if we had looked into that a little bit earlier.
So what advice for somebody who's interested in becoming a producer?
Ooh. Tasks. I think it's almost like instinctual for me to just add myself to stuff and I'll write this or I'll do that. But it really helps take the burden off. You can delegate tasks, and people are looking for work to do, so mind as much as you might think they would. But yeah, just be on top of things, be timely, and delegate tasks.
Yeah, I mean, be okay with giving people things to do, and accept if you're not doing them yourself, they might not be necessarily perfect in your eyes, but enough. They're what is needed, and just accept that.
Trust other people to do good work.
Yeah, that's great, for sure. So looking ahead, what future of Texas News Primetime look like?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I'm a graduating senior, so I won't be here firsthand to see it, but I'm looking forward to the shows. I hope we can continue some of the new content we've seen the last year, things like live reports and just a regional gathering. I'm excited to see what y'all come up with.
Yeah, I'm not sure about my own future in TSTV News. If I continue doing it, I explore other avenues. I think eventually I'll come back to it, but it's all good to the next producers.
Yeah. So this is kind of a hard question to answer. What are your guys' plans in the future? I know you're graduating, so what's next?
Yes, thank Bob lined up. I know that's always a scary thing when you're a senior, but I'll be here in Austin as a multimedia journalist at CBS Austin. So yeah, I'm super. I think my time at TSTV definitely prepared me for it. So yay.
I want to look into other kind of outlets of journalism, 4 semesters here and really not much anywhere else. So I want to make sure that I have bases covered as a journalist, and keep petting my cat and managing my time and graduating.
100%. That's all really good stuff. Well, thank you, McKenna, for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
When we come back, we sit down with Tower Talks executive producers. Tower Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Tower Talks. Joining me in the studio now are Tower executive producers Kai Fong and Audrey Itz. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing great. Happy that the show we had another successful season of the show.
Yeah, happy last show with her.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys could come on. So before we start, can you tell us a little bit about what Tower Talks?
Well, Tower Talks is our kind of in-depth, more inside of the house for reporting. So we kind of do like to go a little bit more nuanced into the reporting prime time. So we tend to pick a theme each week, and we a little bit of diving deep into like what it actually is, the different aspects of it. So we talk about how they feel about it. We talk to professors about how they feel about it. So we kind of try to paint a more kind of full picture than what we have the opportunity to paint with our other shows. Kind of like what we like to do with it.
Awesome. Well, what has been one thing that you're proud of accomplishing with EPs?
I think definitely how far we've been able to come. I think Kai and I joined and we didn't really know what we were doing, absolutely at all. But this is great. Like, I feel like we've improved a lot, so I'm proud of that we were able to do that.
Yeah, we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into when we started this out. We kind of assumed that it'd be a lot easier. We were both really lucky that we had producers come before us, both in Towers and in primetime, where they made it look really easy. So when that actually happened, and it was our turn to sit in the producer's chair, we knew how much work actually went into it. And I know in my case personally, I was like to be a journalist at the same time I was learning how to be a producer. So trying to balance those two things, absolutely insanity. But I mean, it worked out in the end, I guess. But
It did. It worked here. And I mean, Tower Talks has definitely had its fair share of challenges, as you guys said. So come a long way. So where do you see the future of Tower Talks going?
I figured it out a little bit. We have like a show that kind of works out for us, and like we have like pre-productions planned. We have like pre-recorded interviews scheduled, and we've been able to better stick to like a set schedule and figure it all out. And we've like also gotten like a team, so I really see them going far next semester.
yeah, so Audrey and I aren't currently planning to continue EPing the show, but I mean, hopefully, I think we've done a good job of preparing potential future leaders for Towers. So based off what we've learned this semester, I believe that they have a strong foundation to go off of. So the future is bright for Tower Talks.
For sure. I 100% agree. So if there's one thing you would do differently if you started this year over completely?
Oof. Well, I think I would go even before the year. I think when I first got into TS, I'd only been in TSTV for around a semester before I became a producer. I think I would have used that in terms of actually learning about how the actual technology works and how journalism itself works, because because I was trying to learn how to be a journalist, I was actually learning how to be a producer. I didn't have the strong foundation to go off of. And that was difficult, and that meant that I wasn't able to be the best version of myself to lead a standard for what the show had to be. And I think that did negatively impact us a little bit. But you comment a little bit better with your experience as a journalist.
Well, I have more experience in journalism because I just recently got into journalism, and I had been as a major since getting to UT. But I do wish I had gone maybe a single episode of Tower Talks before becoming executive producer for it. It really could have helped to figure out a little bit more how it worked out. Because I feel hi, just really trying to figure out what is Tower Talks, what we want to make it to, and what to do differently than before. So probably come in with a stronger sense of what we wanted to start with.
Yeah, we definitely needed to learn how to plan, and this business planning is everything. Mm-hmm. And even though plans don't they don't all up, it helps to know what you're planning to do and know what you're trying to what the goal is to do. But we learned it along the way. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, yeah, I don't think a lot of the time how much work goes into, the planning behind the episodes. We only see what's on the screen. So that being said, what is some advice that you would give somebody who wants to become an EP?
Oh, I think what McKenna and Audrey were saying earlier about other people take some of the work was really important. Because I know sometimes if you want to take things on by yourself, but then it ends up being a lot worse because then you're just taking on much responsibility rather than sharing it with others. So yeah, I said about making sure you trust others. It's okay also to tell people what to do sometimes, and so it's okay to actually do it. So that's one thing I would say.
I think a lot of it comes down to actually, it would really depend on what their collegiate career they're in. If it's somebody a freshman who walks in the first semester, very long term want to be an EP, I would tell them first to focus on learning how to do well and learning how the technology works. So if they have the opportunity to, obviously they learn TriCast, they know how to use a camera, how to use a sound, how to use a teleprompter. I would tell them to focus on that. A lot of this job is actually figuring out what the technology is. And then as they go on, tell them to begin looking into interpersonal communication and also learning how to manage their time better. We really struggled with our time management and also determining what our goals. So I would tell them to learn how to be decisive and how to communicate better. But I mean, really, the only way to really learn how to do this is by doing it. And the nice thing about, or I guess also one of the drawbacks about TSTV is that leadership openings are always opening up. So, I mean, if you want to be a producer, you'll probably want to chat.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's some great advice. Thank you, Kai and Audrey, for coming on. When we come back, we sit down with our TSTV News director. Tower Talks will be right back. Welcome back to Tower Talks. We have TSTV News Director Justin Dowd and Associate News Director Hope Vanderberg. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. This is the second to last show for me since I'm a senior, just Good Morning Long Wednesday, so definitely bittersweet night, but it's been fun.
Yeah, that should be my last TV appearance. So,
Wow. Well, can you guys both just go ahead and introduce yourselves and explain your roles as news directors?
yeah, I'm the news director here at TSTV. So I've been here for 2 years now. I got roped in when Ariba Barmel, the previous news director, kind of twisted my arm a little. And so my role now is to kind of lead our coverage across that we offer here at TSTV News and try and guide our digital content as well. It's just making sure that we're reporting responsibly, making sure that we don't have blind spot coverage, and trying to keep an eye on everything that's happening and make sure that we're serving the community in the best.
Yeah. And as Associate News Director, I'm basically doing all of those things as anything Justin tells me to do. And it's just been really great. I feel like Justin is a great support system, and I really enjoyed getting to do this role with him. I think something else to do is just really support the EPs and associate producers and just make sure we're checking if there's anything they need for their individual shows, that we're able to provide that support. I know we sometimes face a lot of technical difficulties at TSTV, and from my experience as an EP, I remember too well. So I think the troubleshooting, I've been able to help out with that a lot, which has been helpful for our shows.
Definitely. It's been very helpful. So looking back, you guys have both been here for a really long time. So how did you first get involved, and what was the steps that you took to becoming news directors?
Yeah, I came in as general after the pro-Palestine protests in April of 2024 on campus, like for TSTV and for the Daily Text, and then I ended up kind of sticks TV through the summer and took on a general reporting role. And then in the spring, I associate news director, Hope's job, and so it was a role that we actually, for the first time that semester, to try and help Ariba out and really guide our multimedia board in a way that hadn't happened before. So after Ariba graduated, and because I was also an associate producer for Tower Talks, I ended up taking on, and so I guess I kind of got ordained into it, but I'm really happy that I did.
Yeah, I started out also as a general reporter first semester my freshman year, and I was really involved with Texas News Primetime. I kind of progressed through that show. At sophomore year, I was associate producer, or junior I was executive producer, and then I kind of, having that role for a year, I knew I'd pass on the reins, and so I wasn't really sure what my time in TV would look like after that. I kind of thought maybe I would take a step back and just, go back to general report, let somebody else step up into that leadership role. But now that we have the associate news director position, a perfect fit for me to be able to oversee all of the shows. And one of my best friends is the producer for Good Morning Longhorn, so getting to collaborate with her on that this year has been really special for us. And, get a glimpse of more of the shows that we have to offer here at TSTV News has been a really cool job.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you guys are both very involved with TSTV as well as us. So how do you balance your time and involvement across all three shows?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really lean a lot on Hope to kind of be there and hold up our whole station, because I don't have the experience as an EP, and so she really carries a lot of the actual hard work, and I'm more of a and so I think that that balance comes from having a really we have great leadership across all three shows. We have really consistent reporters that about the content that they produce, and I feel like a news station can't really thrive unless they meet requirements. So all of that paired with a fantastic executive leadership team is definitely been the key for me.
Yeah, I would say our members are the ones that are doing work. Like, we're honestly just delegating, and if we didn't have such talented reporters, I'm sure it'd be a lot. Everybody really carries their weight, and so it's kind of been different for me to transition to that side of it, I guess. But it's definitely more just like showing up and being there, and like you're a friendly face for people and that you are approachable, and so just making sure we're going to the shows and being there if people need help, I think, is really important. And just etching that time in your schedule there to support.
Yeah, and you guys have done a great job of that this year. So what had the most challenging part of leading a whole newsroom?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's largely been the technical side of things. I don't have, coming into this, great of a grasp on that, as I probably should have to lead a news department. So I feel pretty strong news judgment and good journalism, but that's not necessarily the most important thing when you're running a station that relies on technology. So coming from a print background, it's definitely been a learning, and I think also time management is always a difficulty. I'm pretty involved in a number of things, and so kind of juggling those responsibilities and trying to lead them in a way that I feel is kind of representative of what it is always a challenge, but it's been a fun one to kind of try to figure my way through.
I would say the technical aspect of it for me, as executive producer of Texas News Primetime, I relied really heavily on my associate. That was kind of his niche, was handling the technical things, and I let him have it. But I didn't get much experience in that myself. But it has been, for us to obviously learn how to troubleshoot the things and collaborate. We all, if something's not, we'll come together as a team to work it out. So that's been good.
Definitely. So, do you have favorite moments from this year, or just TSTV in general?
Go ahead.
I would say work related. Getting to do South by Southwest this year was really awesome. It was the first time TSTV News has ever interviewed on the red carpet, to interview some pretty big names. So that was just a really great way to round out my time at TV. But I would say on a personal level, I think this year specifically, I feel like me and Justin have gotten pretty close. I just feel like every week I come in and I have some sort of new story or drama or to tell them about, and it's been great to I feel like we collaborated, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, by far the people are the most valuable part of this. I mean, you meet some people that care really deeply about journalism, and you meet people that are just fun to be around. So, I mean, both of you are a blast to be around every week, and I think that getting the opportunity to get to know everybody better is always. I also really enjoyed covering the Tribune Festival. I'm a politics junkie, so that one's always. And TSTV has been the only outlet that I've ever covered it for, so I've done it for years now, and I plan to come back for a third. So just for that. So either way, it's been really cool to get to contribute to so many different things with so many awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So what's next for you both, and how has this role prepared you?
Yeah, I'm graduating, so I'll be graduating in 3 now, which is really crazy. But I am hopefully going to be working as at a news station somewhere. We'll see. I'm in the process right now interviewing with a couple places, see where that takes me. But TSTV has definitely been very fundamental for that. I've learned so much here that I would not have been able to gain anywhere else. Just the technical troubleshooting, all the teamwork, and just really learning how to go out, shoot a story on your own, and do those cold interviews and those cold calls really prepares you for the real world, especially student journalists. Sometimes you're not taken as serious, and so you really do have to fight for yourself and advocate for yourself, and I think that is something I'll definitely take into my career.
Yeah, I feel like broadcast journalism is its own sect, and its own kind of medium, but all of the skills that you solidify in TSTV, but also just in broadcast journalism as a whole, for across mediums and formats. So all of the skills that we've kind of hardened here and to refine really come into play when we're looking at our full-time careers after college. So I still have a year. I'm a junior. I'll be the managing editor for the Daily Texan. So I'm excited to take that. I think that TSTV has been pretty integral in preparing me for that. I've run this department now, and it's significantly smaller than the Texans newsroom, but I think challenges are pretty consistent, although I guess I'll find out. But I think making those judgments about what news should or shouldn't be produced, or how we should a certain topic, and working with the interpersonal side of that to make sure that people understand making the decisions that I am, and talking them through how we can handle this as a team instead of one person making all of the decisions. I hope to kind of that leadership style into the work that I do there. After that, it's up in the air. Hires me at some point. So if you're watching, reach out.
Thank you guys. It's always great hearing from you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we wish you the best in your next adventures. When we come back, we take a look at what's happening in our world. Tower Talks will be right back. Okay. Welcome back to Tower Talks. Here's other news you need to know. The ongoing ceasefire with Iran is under threat after U.S. seized the Iranian cargo ship Tuska on Sunday. In response, Iran refused to negotiate with the United States in Islamabad today for a permanent war. The Tuska was seized as part of a naval blockade ordered by President Trump. The seizure led to the price of oil increasing today as the potential for the conflict in Iran cast a shadow over markets. According to U.S. Central Command, the Tuska was for 6 hours by the destroyer USS Spruance until the Spruance disabled the Tuska's 5-inch guns. U.S. Marines with the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit assigned to Tripoli then rappelled onto the Tuska's deck, seizing the vessel in American custody. The seizure comes amidst continuing threats by President Trump to attack civilian infrastructure in Iran. U.S. Labor Secretary Lori Derrimer resigned today amid misconduct investigation. This marks the resignation of President Trump's second term following Attorney General Pam Bondi and Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem. According to the New York Times, allegations against Chavez Derrimer include having an affair with a subordinate, drinking on the job, and using taxpayer-funded travel to visit with friends and family. This follows the barring of Chavez Derrimer's husband, Dr. Sean Remmer, from the department's headquarters in February after at least 2 female staff members told officials he had sexually assaulted them. White House Communications Director Steve Chung said Chavez Derrimer is leaving, quote, to take position in the private sector, end quote. That is all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us for this episode and all our other episodes this semester. It was a sublime pleasure to put this show on air. To keep up with us when we come back next semester, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at Tower Talks TSTV News. For Tower Talks, I am Emmy Adams. Good night.